Hey, is that a new bull bar? G'day everybody, it's been a couple of weeks without a video, and normally I'd put them out on a Saturday. Today's Sunday, but it's just what I could get done, so the video's going up today. We have got some mods that have been done to the rig that I've been waiting on. I wish I could have done this since the start. Let's go and take a look. Whoo, that's a bit flash. So I finally got the bar work fitted, the bar that I wanted. So, I mean, I've been looking at bull bars for as long as people have been making them for these, which isn't that long. At the end of the day, there's a lot to choose from on the market. In my opinion, there's a lot of bars that just don't look right on this vehicle. I think that this really is a good looking bar, but it's also practical. I think the strength is there. You can also have a winch. I have had a ARB bar fitted to my old Land Cruiser, and that was a deluxe bar. This is the Summit Mark II. But I did hit a big red, like a big roo, heading south from Alice one night, like middle of the night. 100 kilometers an hour, smack bang in the middle. And this bar here, it was a slight, it was just pushed in ever so slightly, this bar. That was it, like it really did a good job. So I think the strength is there. You can still get the deluxe bar for this model, which ran from the old model. I think it's slightly modified, like maybe the bar's a bit taller because this front end's taller now. I think they look all right on this model. I haven't seen one in the flesh though. But this Summit Mark II, just all the marketing and pictures I saw from ARB on Instagram and whatever, just looked right to me. It really just looked right. And if you come in close here, you'll see that this bar, this is where the top of the bar sits. And if you look down there, you can see, you know, this piece of steel here, which pretty much every other bar I've seen on the market, the top of the bar sits below that bit of steel across there, which is where the factory Toyota bar sat. It's also where the deluxe bar sits, but they've made this bar so that it mounts, you know, flush, which was a big difference to me. I think some of those bars don't quite look right to me because they're so tall. There's just something about it. This is like a little bit more compact. I like the bar height where it comes up to here, and it just looks right. So as soon as I saw, I kind of couldn't put my finger on, I kind of think this car, this particular model is kind of hard to make look good, if that makes sense, with whatever, you know, with certain bars that go onto it. So the thought hadn't really crossed my mind to just have a bar that's raised a little bit. So again, when I saw the pictures from ARB, and I was like, what have they done? And I could see that they have mounted it higher. It just looked right. You know, you just get this bit. I really like that. Obviously I got the scrub rails with it. A few people have asked, is this just for aesthetics? Like, what purpose do they serve? I guess they would give some strength to the bar in a hit. I mean, they'd have to, right? They're like big gussets. Obviously, if you hit a wall at 100k an hour, it's probably not going to do much, but you know, for sure they'd offer a bit of strength. I mean, that's not why I get them. I've done 100,000k almost without bars. So, and on my old Land Cruiser, I had scrub rails and I did take them off after a while, just for something different. But on that old Land Cruiser, in the wet out bush, I actually slid into a tree, and the tree ran the length of the scrub rail, and as we kept sliding into it, the base of the tree ran along here. So it saved the car. Like, they paid for himself in that one drive. Also, on a Hilux of mine that had scrub rails, I had a roo, I was doing 110 and a roo flew in from the side and hit straight here, saved the car. It actually dented the quarter panel a little bit. I never got it repaired because it wasn't major. But if that wasn't there, it would have, I hate to think what it would have done. So just those two instances, you know, they paid for themselves. Not only that, they're handy for shouldering cattle down a fence line. So I don't use this as a bull catcher or mustering, but sometimes you'll be flying down a fence line, and when I say flying, 40, 60k an hour, and a beast might come out of the scrub. Sometimes you give them a little nudge. Not only that, sometimes calves and weaners are on the wrong side of the fence, like their mum will be over here, calf will be over this side. And if you drive up next to them, they usually just run the fence. And if their mum's on the other side, they want to get through. If you put a bit of pressure on them, they normally just hop through the barb. And you know, sometimes you give them a bit of a nudge. So for me, these are practical. With that, we got the side steps, which seem to be, you know, solid units. You can see under here, we've got this little park light that's on. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it. And then we got a fog light right here. It's not working at the moment, and may as well get into that right now. Before we get into that, I like the 60mm tubing too. The fat tubing just really sets it off, and obviously it's a bit more heavy duty. I had a few dramas with ARB. It was meant to be there for like a day, maybe a day and a half. It ended up there for like 2.5 days, because if you come over here, as they were fitting, they took my old bar off, and as they were taking it off, it slid back into here and put a massive scratch in the guard here. So it was there for like 2 hours, and they rang me up and said, mate, we've had a bit of a mishap, scratched your guard, it's at the panel beaters, it's getting fit. I was like, what are you talking about? So, I mean, you know, shit happens, I suppose. Obviously I wasn't very happy at the time. So it was at the panel beaters for like a day and a half or something getting fixed. And then, anyway, long story short, they got the bar and whatever on, obviously, but the loom that ARB supplies, they've been having big dramas with them, or so I'm told. So they could not get the fog lights to work. They were having big dramas. So they're not working at the moment. They've got to get a new loom in or something. But I may as well talk about a couple of things. Like, I think they were in a bit of a rush, and I specifically said, don't rush it, fellas, eh? Like, I'm not trying to sound rude, but just don't rush it. Like, because it sat at the panel beaters, I felt like, you know, I know how that shit works, and I thought they were gonna try and rush it out the door, but like, they left these screws out, so this blinker nearly fell out, and I was out bush driving around, I didn't even notice. My brother pointed it out yesterday. And then if you look under here, these little plastic guards that just get clipped in. When I went to pick it up, they were hanging down both sides, so they quickly rushed out and clipped them back up. So yeah, I don't want to be too mean, but for the dollars you're paying and whatever, it's not ideal. You know, it just makes you wonder about other things, like, is the bar even bolted on properly? Originally, I wanted to do all this work myself. I much prefer working on my own car because you know what you're doing, and I enjoy doing it as well. But I just sort of ran out of time. But along with that, I will say, you know, this is Alice Springs ARB, and I really do, I like them in there. They help me out with some things. And to be honest, they gave me a fat discount on the bar and that because of the muck around with the panel beater and all that sort of stuff. So no ill will there. You know, shit happens, I understand that. They looked after me, so I appreciate that. Obviously they paid for the repair and whatnot. Anyway, as far as lighting goes, I decided to go with these Nava EX2s, I think they're a bloody nice light. They're a 9-inch. Originally, I didn't really know what light I was gonna go with. I was sort of looking at just going to Super Cheap and getting some hardcore 9-inch lights because they stock them in there. And funnily enough, when I went to get a pair, they didn't have any in stock, and these were sitting on the bottom shelf. And then I read the box, and it seemed like a pretty easy install. Like, nothing gets wired through the firewall. There's no switch. It's internal switching, so it's just straight to the battery and straight plumbed into the high beam. ARB Legends, they also fitted these for me when they don't usually. They only obviously fit their own stuff, but I just said, while the bull bar's off, it's another thing I was going to do. I mean, while you're fitting a bull bar, you may as well fit lights. Like, you're right there doing it, they may as well do it. It's just easier. Do you mind fitting these lights for me? They said, no, we'll do that for you, mate. So they took care of me with that, which was really nice of them. They didn't have to do that. So I've only used these once, but I like them. Obviously, they're 100 times better than just the factory lights that I was running. Even though these factory LEDs are pretty good and they're much better than the previous model. It's one of the biggest things I like about this model. Yeah, night and day difference, pardon the pun, and nearly 100,000 Ks without any additional lighting. They're definitely very much appreciated. I like the shape as well. I'm kind of glad I didn't go with a round light. I do like round lights, but I don't know, something about them. I really like this shape. It's just different. If we take this off, you can also change. This is kind of one thing I'd say is a bit weird. Like, this is like a rubber band type thing. So you pull that off and they supply different colors. In the box comes electric blue and this slate gray. I don't really care about it. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's kind of weird that it's a rubber band, but whatever. I think I'm just going to leave it that color. Seems all right. So some of you keen eyes during this video may have noticed these. So these are off your humble old 76 series. I actually literally fitted these yesterday. Obviously I've been running the standard mirrors this whole time, and people have asked me, like, when are you changing the shitty mirrors out? And I always say, oh, it's just a mirror, I don't really care. But yes, they do vibrate a bit. They vibrate around on the dirt and it is a pain. It just wasn't a priority to me. I thought to myself, when I inevitably break one on a branch, which I've done before, instead of going to Toyota to get another one of those mirrors, I'll get some, I don't know, Occams or MSA or whatever mirrors, you know. So the cheapest I could find in that, you know, those kind of big plastic mirrors was, I think, $570 or $80 from Occam, which is not bad when you compare it to like Clearviews or whatever. Just manual mirrors, I didn't want electric or anything. And then I thought I'd go to Toyota and just, you know, have a look at these. I quite like the look of them on the 76. They quoted me $860 for a pair. And then I went down the road to Terrain Tamer, Don Kayat, got a pair for like 500, so way cheaper. One thing I did notice though while I was at Toyota, there was a brand new 76 and 78 series on the lot. They had a different style mirror again, so I'm pretty sure they're a brand new style, and they look pretty nice. I asked Toyota to try and find them for me. I got the VIN off the chassis of that 76 for them. They couldn't find them in the computer, and they reckon they're factory, so I think they're brand new. They look good.